Yeah, I know, might not fit it in before supper. Okay, it is 8:29, and I'll call the meeting to order of the June 9th, 2020 council. We have an agenda before us, additions, deletions. Council, or Deputy Reeve McGee.
Thank you. I would like to just give a quick little oral report for Kneehill Housing.
Okay, council and committee reports. Kneehill Housing. Yes, Councillor Christie.
I'd like to do a quick verbal report on community futures, please.
And council and committee reports 12.2. What did you say again? Sorry, my community futures. Is there any other additions? Seeing as not, Councillor King.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
All righty, motion's been made to accept the agenda as amended. All those in favor? That is carried unanimously. We have pre-circulated the council meeting minutes of May the 26th, 2020. Any errors, omissions, discussion? Councillor Christie.
I'll move the minutes as presented.
All right, we have a motion before us to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Okay, our first agenda item. Ooh, are we down to 7.1 already? Corporate Services, FCM Asset Management Grant Opportunity. Welcome, Mr. McKinnon, and anytime you're ready.
Morning, Reeve and Council. This is the second year FCM has offered asset management funding. During the first round, the county did take opportunities and did receive a grant of $50,000 related to our asset management program. The program has been fairly successful across Canada. There's a lot of discussion about the benefits of asset management at all levels of government. This is now being really a precursor to receive any provincial or federal grants. Numerous other jurisdictions have asset management to receive gas tax and the like. So that's basically the trend of the day to ensure municipalities are doing forward planning as it relates to assets. As Council is well aware, the county has hundreds of millions of dollars in assets in roads and water infrastructure, in parks and playgrounds and the like. And they have to be actively managed and planned for, not only from a maintenance perspective, but also for a renewal perspective. So this second phase of the FCM asset management plan, really we're targeting to apply for a grant that would allow us to move into the area of maintenance management more, and specifically what that would entail and what are the benefits of that would be online requisitions, work order management systems, a prioritization of jobs, coordination of various types of activities that are done on paper now, but basically the guys in the field would have tablets and they would be able to note work that's needed to be done, and it would all go into the system and it would be consolidated and prioritized and done on a zone basis. So, all the resources would be there for the next outward planning cycle in terms of maintenance. That would be a major advantage. Public Works and Transportation is very interested in moving forward with this, so they would be the first ones that would be piloted if we were successful and council sees the benefits of applying for this grant. So that's basically in a nutshell. There are some fancy bells and whistles, of course, with any IT initiative. Some of them we're doing on the back of a matchbook right now, but this would allow for better integration and collection of data and the like. So it's a great management tool, but it's also a great tool for the individuals out there in the field to, note and prioritize and get that information as they're doing their drive-throughs, whether it's on a grader or whatever. They can actively get better information back to the management staff and the planning staff that are looking at the maintenance schedules and the long-term asset management plans for the municipality. So that being said, the grant is upwards to $50,000. There is a contribution required by the municipality of roughly $10,000 related to that. If we got the maximum grant, we'd have to put in an additional $10,000. At this point, that money could be found within the current approved operating budget, so there would not be any incremental financial impact for the municipality. On a go-forward basis, again, a lot of the systems implementations, there's a significant upfront cost, and this is, would do a long way to fund that initiative, and then there would be a minor annual operating cost related to licensing and the like. And, that would be a couple $1,000s a year, but again, weighed against the benefits of, not having to hire additional staff and not having to hire summer students to do data collection and all those things. It, again, would make it more streamlined within our existing staffing resources. So on that basis, under the FCM program, council has to formally approve a resolution. So that's what's before you today, to seek, if council has an interest in pursuing the grant, the formal resolution of council.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McKinnon. Are there any questions from council? I guess the maximum amount for the grant would be $50,000, where we would be responsible for 20% of that? Is that?
Just through the REIV, the program as it's initiated, we could phase it, but as it's predicated now, and of course we've done significant background work on it, it's around a $75,000 initiative. Again, some of those costs will be in 2021 versus 2020, but again, it would be, we'd be looking to apply, once we get the full work program, there would be a further report coming back to council to delineate the extent of the actual expenditure, but it would be in that, $65,000 to $75,000 range. So we'd be looking for a modest increase, a modest contribution from the county, and maximizing the full $50,000 from the feds.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Any other questions from council? Or any questions from council? Anyone care to make a motion? Councillor Penner.
I'd make the motion that we direct administration to apply for the Municipal Asset Management Program grant opportunity that the FCM has available.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Penner. We have a motion to apply for the grant. Is there any discussion to the motion before I call the question? No discussion. Okay, all those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you, Mr. McKinnon, and good luck. I'm sure we could use the additional help. Alrighty, our next agenda item is 9.1, flag protocol. Mr. Hogan. You've got 30 seconds. That's how long that microphone works for.
So this item that's before council is just a regular update of a policy, or a creation of one. This is really regarding the display and flying of county flags, outlining when we lower them, when we don't, those sorts of initiatives. There's not a lot of detail beyond that in order to give you about the policy. Like I said, it's just listing the circumstances or the specific days that we'll put the flag to half-mast and what that looks like. So what the nature of this is it prevents any of those discrepancies. Why didn't we? Why did we? Those sorts of things. This outlines this is what we do it for, and then it's clear to everybody that when we need to take care of these, that we'll, why we do it for this event and why we're not doing it over here. Well, we've got a policy that says we do it for this and not for other random things that come along. So that's what this policy outlines. It also touches on the display of flags and where they go. But again, it is just part of the renewal and the update of the county's policies that you're seeing this in front of you.
Any questions for Mike? Councillor King.
There it goes. We currently are taking our flags down at night. Is that correct, Mike, or not?
The overnight, no.
Okay, so we have currently been flying them at night. Okay.
And there is some change here, and actually I believe there is actually one addition that I've just caught that that maybe I'll suggest. One of the things that we've done in the policy, if you go by the absolute proper protocol and things like that, it's sunrise, sunset. We've altered this to be the business day or the following morning or something like that, just so we're not, it's a council decision, but I'm recommending that we not send staff back at sunset every day to do this.
Makes sense to me.
And the one addition we do have under section 1 for a current or former MLA representing Kneehill County, we should probably add MP in there as well.
Any discussion, questions, comments, concerns, motions? Deputy Reeve McGee.
I'd like to move that we approve the policy number 11-22 flag protocol as presented with the one amendment.
All right, thank you very much. We've got a motion to move policy 11-22 as amended. Call the question. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. All right, Mike, policy review schedule.
So this item is just an information item for council's awareness. One of the things we've done, as council is aware, you as a group, you are the owners of the county's policies. They belong to council, they're documents of council. One of the things that we've identified is that we have a number of policies that are in need of renewal or update. Review, I guess, would be one of the words, because some of them are probably fine, don't need to change. Others, there's some update required. What we had noticed is that process had been the process had been lagging a bit. And so what we wanted to do, and just to make you aware that we've done, is we've created a schedule internally of when these policies are updated. And the way we structured that, when we looked at it, is we said, okay, can we bring all the ones that we should probably review or that haven't been reviewed in a number of years back to council? And if we would have done that, then you guys would have been reviewing about 85% of the municipality's policies this year. And we said that's probably a bit much. And so what we wanted to do is to basically set these on a schedule on a 4-year rotation, so that once every 4 years, every policy would have been back in front of the council of the day for a review. And so when I say a review, that might mean updating things that need to be updated. It might be taking a look at it and saying, nope, this policy is still good, it's still fine, no changes, right? So those can go either way. But what we've done is we've created this schedule that essentially is now an accountability tool that throughout the course of a 4-year cycle, each council that's there would have seen each of their policies at least once in terms of a review, in a review perspective. So what this does is it puts the onus on now us as staff, knowing that, hey, here's a deadline or a deliverable that we have to bring forward in front of council. So we're not going to hit you with 85% of the policies this year. We've set them out on that schedule and we've started it going forward. So you can expect that as we go through here, you'll see more of those come forward. What we wanted to do is just to keep it boiled down to quarters. And we've done that for a specific reason, is if we start plugging in very specific dates, what it allows us to do is to manage the agenda a little bit better in terms of we don't have a heavy agenda and then tack on 5 policies at the end of it. We can, if we have a lighter agenda, we can put some in there. Also allows us to work around the other functions that are going on in the county. So we've done that by quarter. And the other thing that we've done when we created this is we did this in consultation with all of the departments to make sure that we were trying to do this during, you know, for example, when we're not having ag services, a lot of their policies come at you in the middle of the summer when ag services is really busy out in the field doing their things, right? So we've tried to find those, you know, there's ebbs and flows to the nature of the work we do. We've tried to align when those policy reviews are done for each department in areas when they're not exceptionally busy out doing other things. And so really the information bit here for council is that we've built this as an added accountability measure to try and ensure that the policy reviews happen on a regular basis. And so again, we just want to make sure, brought this forward to you to let you know that this is in place, and this is something that we've structured and we'll be embarking on. So you probably noticed the last few meetings, there's been some policies come forward. It's not necessarily specific in terms of those policies, you know, even the one that I just presented around the flag policy, there was no imminent push or no ulterior reason why that one came forward today. It was just time for it to be reviewed and done. And so that's kind of how this structure works, to ensure that once every 4 years we've gotten through them all. And of course, it'll just be an ongoing cycle to make sure that we don't have policies that are really out of date.
Thanks, Mike. Are there any questions for Mr. Hogan? Deputy Reeve McGee.
First off, I'd like to commend you for giving such a reasonable way of structuring things. I look forward to seeing how much easier it is for all of us and how much more efficient it will be. And for that reason, I'd like to move that we receive the policy review schedule report as information.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a motion before us to receive for information. Is there any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thanks, Mike. Council and committee reports. I think I went and said 12.1 and 12.2, which they should be 11.1, 11.2. So first one, Kneehill Housing. Anytime you're ready, Deputy Reeve McGee.
Thank you. We've had a Zoom meeting last week, and we had lots of success with that meeting going forward. We also had done our annual budget at the month before, and that was well done as well. I just wanted to highlight that the staff at Kneehill Housing, Golden Hills Lodge, have been working really hard under these conditions, under the COVID needs, and their work has been exemplary, and extra activities have been practiced. They've even rented the van to take people on little trips to view the crops and stuff. So it's quite fun and creative things that have happened there that I'm hoping some of them stay forever, not just because of the pandemic. We wanted people to be aware that we've had 3 surprise inspections from the environmental health officer, and we were in great shape each time. So just so that you and the public know that, you know, all these things that are being established is not because we as the board or our CEO has determined it, but because the province has, and they're checking to be sure we do it. So if there's any concerns about that, I can tell you it's been well done and according to what it needs to have happen. What advantage they decided to take during this time was, since we're not using the parking lot so much and had that repaved at the Golden Hills Lodge, and it's looking pretty good. It went very well. There are vacancies in all locations, so that is something to note as well, that the demand isn't increasing right now. That's all I have to report.
Are there any questions for Faye? So there's vacancies in all jurisdictions? Yes? Okay, well, if there's no more questions, we will go on to 11.2, Community Futures. Counselor Christie.
Okay, we had an online meeting Thursday evening. The province, I believe, province or federal government has given 25 million to go to Regional Relief Recovery Fund. So Wild Rose is allocated 970,000. It's a 3-week program to assist small and medium-sized businesses with Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, up to 40,000. If they pay it back before the 1st of 2021, they'll get 10,000 will be forgiven. But it's a short window to apply for it. So we're into week 2 now. So if you know any small business that fell through the cracks of other programs, that's available. One of my questions at the meeting was whether you had to be a Community Futures client, and you don't. But there's quite a bit of paperwork to go with it, but there's a $10,000 incentive there if you make it happen. So because of the short timeline, we need to make sure that small business that fell through the cracks of other programs may qualify for this one. The other major announcement was Christopher Steves is the new business analysis that was announced on Thursday night. So there you go.
Are there any questions for Counselor Christie? Counselor Penner.
Not necessarily a question, but I think in a way it's a little bit disappointing that if they pay it by January 21, and that's not very far away. I wish it had been January of 22, because we don't know what the next 6 months is going to bring, but just my thoughts.
I read that wrong. It is December 31st, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Boy, just as easy as that, huh?
You need to ask for more.
I know the program that we're on is,
Maybe that's something that we could put on our website just to, in case people are interested, they can find it on our website and have that kind of sort of explained to them.
I've got the flyer that they gave me.
Oh, okay.
Emailed me yesterday that I forwarded to Carolyn yesterday.
Oh, okay, so that's been forwarded to, oh, great. That saves some work there, and it gives the project highlights right off the bat. Are there any other comments or questions for Counselor Christie? If not, maybe we could have a motion to receive council and committee reports as for information. Counselor King.
We'll have to start a pool. How many tries does it take, Ken?
More than anyone else. I'd make the motion to receive the council and committee reports for information.
Okay, motion's been made to receive council and committee reports for information. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And we have nothing for closed session. So I guess brings us to the end of our agenda.
Follow-up report.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, sorry. We have council follow-up action list. I was trying to get ahead of myself there. Okay, so that's 12. Agenda item 12. Is there any questions, comments? Deputy Reeve McGee.
I move to receive the council action items report as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to receive councillor follow-up action list for information as presented. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And now that we've come to the end of our agenda and we have nothing for closed session, I would move adjournment. That was a quick one.